There are promises that sleep inside you, waiting only for a right word to awaken. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have an almost invisible power that makes everything flow around them? As if the entire universe conspired in favor of their every step? It's not luck. And it's no coincidence either. It's law, spiritual law, law of attraction. And no, it's not that superficial idea that has become fashionable of thinking positive and hoping that the universe will bring a new car or a trip. That's not it. It is deeper, it is millennial, and perhaps it is hidden precisely where few dare to look, in the Psalms. Yes, the Psalms of the Bible. Those verses that many see only as old prayers or consolations for difficult moments. But what no one has told you is that within certain psalms, there are spiritual codes, vibrational doors, hidden frequencies that resonate with the very fabric of the universe. If you know how to use them, something starts to change. And I don't talk about magic. I talk about manifestation, of real results, of old dreams that breathe again. And more importantly, they begin to take place. But before I continue, I need to ask you a direct question. Are you living the life you would like to live? Or is it just surviving in automatic mode, waiting for something to change on the outside, without realizing that the key has always been inside? Today you will discover something that can turn the key forever. But beware, the latest revelation in this video is the most powerful of all, and it has the power to completely transform the way you pray, feel, act, and manifest. Stay with me until the end. Now, before we continue, leave your like and subscribe to the channel. This type of content is blocked by many algorithms because it is not distracting. He awakens. So if you feel that this is for you, support the channel. It's just a click, but it has a huge weight. And now, take a deep breath. Because what you hear next can take you to another level of consciousness. The truth is that the Bible was never just a storybook. It is a coded book, a field of spiritual instructions, but most read with their eyes and not with their spirit. And this is precisely why the Psalms are so potent, because they were written not only to be understood, but to be activated. Each psalm is an access point, a specific vibration, and the law of attraction, yes, the same one that many associate with positive thoughts, was already described there in a deep but veiled way. Want an example? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. This is not just poetry. It's code. It is mental reprogramming. It is spiritual neuroscience. What's more, it's emotional quantum physics. And here, the change begins. When you begin to use the Psalms consciously, something happens. Your vibrational field begins to align with the promise, and the promise moves in your direction. You begin to realize that it is not about asking God, but about remembering who you are in Him. The mistake of many is to pray with fear, to pray with doubt, to pray as one who begs. But who understands the secret? Sometimes as one who activates. And that's where the demonstration happens. Not because you forced the universe, but because you finally stepped into the frequency of realization. Have you noticed that there are people who pray a lot, but don't they reap? The truth that few dare to say is that praying without conscience is like planting a seed in dry soil. Now, when you pray with awareness, with activated faith, with the right vibration, it's like watering that seed with light, and it grows. And this is where a crucial point comes in. Many are blocking their blessings with contrary words. They pray to prosper, but they complain about everything. They pray for love, but vibrate in need. They pray for healing, but they feed the disease with words of despair. And the universe, obediently, responds not to what you say, but to what you vibrate. And that is why there is a secret that is little talked about. Certain psalms must be declared in a state of certainty, not doubt. In a state of gratitude, as if what you want is already happening. because that's what faith really is, the certainty of things hoped for. Not hope, certainty, presence. And at this point, I need to show you something that goes beyond words, something that I prepared with great attention. If you want to learn how to manifest using the correct frequency, combining Psalms with manifestation codes and spiritual reprogramming, click on the first link in the pinned comment. This content is for those who are ready. If it's you, you'll know right away. Now, remember the phrase I said at the beginning? There are promises that sleep inside you, waiting only for a right word to awaken. That word may be closer than ever, and it can come out of your own mouth, if you learn to align faith, vibration, and word. In the next few minutes, you will get to know the Psalms that activate realities, that move the energy of what you already know you were born to live. And when I reveal the last, you will understand why everything you have been through so far had a purpose. Because pain is also a portal. And if until now you felt that your life was stuck, get ready. You'll start to see doors opening, not by magic, but because you'll learn to align the frequency of your prayer with the frequency of the promise. And that's where the demonstration happens. In the next excerpt, you will understand why most people do not manifest, even praying hard. And what can you do, starting today, to change that? Stay with me. Most people keep asking, as if God were far away, as if it were necessary to convince him with beautiful words or with suffering. But the truth is that God is not deaf or absent. He's in, and everything you seek outside, it already exists in you, but it's dormant, waiting to be activated. This is the blind spot of those who seek change only from the outside. They want employment to change. May the relationship change. May health improve. But they do not understand that everything begins in the invisible. The external world is only a reflection of what is vibrating internally. And the Bible speaks of this accurately. Jesus himself said, "The kingdom of God is within you." This is not a metaphor. This is spiritual direction. You don't have to convince the universe. You need to align yourself with it. And that's what the Psalms do. They are not just beautiful prayers. They are spiritual technology. And like all technology, they only work if you know how to use it. There is no point in reciting out of obligation or superstition. You need to feel. It needs to get into the right vibration. When you declare a psalm, you're not just talking, it's shaping the energy around you. It's programming your mind. You are tuning your frequency to the divine promise. And this attunement, this communion between word and faith, is what opens the way for manifestation. Now, why do the Psalms have this power? Because they were written by people who were in extreme emotional states: fear, hope, gratitude, trust, despair. They carry deep emotional charge, and emotion is the fuel of the demonstration. Emotion is what imprints desire on the invisible mesh of reality. When you pray coldly, nothing happens. But when you enter a true emotional state, when you feel it with your body, with your soul, with your spirit, heaven answers. And this is where everything starts to change. There are psalms that vibrate healing. Others vibrate prosperity. Others, protection. And some, the rarest, activate the awakening of your spiritual identity. These are the ones that take you out of the frequency of doubt and into the vibration of fulfillment. Because your dream is not born outside, it is born within. It has always been like this. But what if I told you that what's stopping you from manifesting? Isn't it a lack of faith? It is not a sin. It's not karma. It's the wrong frequency. It is repeating the right words with the wrong feeling. It is to declare victory but to feel defeat. It is asking for love vibrating in need, prosperity vibrating scarcity, healing vibrates fear. That cancels everything. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are, and what you are It depends on what you feel, think, and say constantly. The Psalms reprogram this, if used in the right way. For example, when you declare, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want," this is not just a comfort phrase. It is a code of abundance, but it only works when you feel like that abundance is already there, not as if it was going to come, but as if it were already present. Because real faith, it is now. It is presence. It's certain. And that's where the demonstration comes in. It does not come as an answer to despair. It comes as a response to trust. God does not move by noise, but by vibration. And your vibration changes when you change your inner language. And once again, I remind you of the phrase, "There are promises that sleep inside you, waiting only for a right word to awaken." That word may be in the next psalm you'll hear, but it needs to be full of presence, of feeling. Absolutely. Repeat, feel, view. Declare as one who lives, not as someone who waits. And if you feel like you're ready to go beyond words, if you're ready to align faith and energy, desire and direction, click on the first link in the pinned comment. It is there that I share what goes beyond what I can say here. Only click if you feel it's the moment. Reality does not respond to His will. It responds to your being. And the Psalms have the power to transform who you are on the inside, so that what is outside aligns naturally. No forced effort, no fight, just tuning. Now let me ask you another question. How many times have you heard that you needed to deserve the blessing? That He needed to prove Himself worthy? That's what you were taught. But that's not what God says. God does not expect your perfection. He waits for your conscience, your vibration, your decision to stop vibrating as a spiritual beggar, and begin to live as an heir of the divine. This is not arrogance, it's identity. Psalm 82 speaks of this. You are God's, and all of you are sons of the Most High. This is in the Bible. It's there. But few have the courage to live it, because it demands responsibility. You create. You manifest it. You activate. With His words, your feelings, your vision. And what happens when you start declaring these psalms every day with intent? Something changes. First inside, then out. Fear loses strength. Scarcity dissolves. Time speeds up. Opportunities are beginning to arise. Not because the world has changed, but because you changed your frequency and the world responded to you. Now, take a deep breath. Remember that pain you've been carrying for years? That frustration of trying and not seeing results? That feeling of being stuck, as if there is an invisible barrier between you and what you want? She is not there for nothing. It is there as a warning, a calling, a reminder that you're ready for something bigger. And if you've come this far, it's because you already know deep down that there's more, much more. This pain, it is the sign that you are about to be reborn. And it is at this moment that the last psalm comes in, the most powerful of all. Not because he brings more blessings, but because it activates who you really are. He says, "Be still and know that I am God." This phrase is absolute code. It takes you out of anxiety, in a hurry, of doubt, and it puts you at the center, at the source, in the now. In this inner silence, everything manifests. You don't have to chase it. You need to remember who you are, and it will all come to you. Maybe now, after everything you've heard, you're feeling something strange inside, as if something is starting to move. A memory that does not come from the mind, but from the spirit. Like you're starting to remember who you really are. It is not an illusion. It is revelation. Because what you have been taught for so long, unfortunately, was not enough. You were told that dreaming was dangerous, that wanting too much was greed, that expecting something great from life was pride. And you believed it. You shut up. he hid. He shrank into a life that did not reflect the size of his soul, but the spirit. He never forgot. He stood there, silent, waiting for the right moment to remind you that you are not small, that you were not born to survive but to manifest, and today, perhaps that moment has come, the manifestation you seek so much. It does not depend on a blessing that has not yet come. It depends on an awakening, and that awakening begins when you choose to believe not only in God, but also in His spark within you. Understand this at once. You are not a being separate from the divine. You are a channel, a mirror, a transmitter of that which is in the source. And the more you align yourself with that truth, but the impossible begins to happen around you. And the Psalms are tools for this. They weren't written to entertain you. They were written to reconnect you. Every word there carries a vibration. And when you enter that frequency, there is no scarcity, fear, doubt, or block that you can resist. But there is a detail that no one tells you. You can repeat a psalm 1,000 times, and nothing happens. And do you know why? Because strength is not in repetition. It is in the consciousness. It is in the heart with which you declare. It is in the feeling that accompanies every word. It's the moment when you stop just talking and begins to live it. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is in me bless His holy name. This is not just praise. It is vibrational command. It's you saying, every cell in my body is aligned with the divine. Every thought, every breath, every desire, everything in me is in communion with Source. This is where life changes, because you change, and the world has no choice. It just reflects. If there's one thing you need to take with you after this video, that's it. Demonstration is not about conquering something outside. It's about awakening something within. Because when you wake up, the rest comes. You don't have to chase it. You don't need to force it. You don't need to beg. It needs to be aligned. It needs to allow. He needs to assume the spiritual posture of someone who already knows that he is a son of the Most High, and who is a son, don't beg, inherits. But this process requires more than words. It requires a decision. It requires conscious action. It requires a vibrational spiritual practice. You may be wondering, okay, but how do I get started? How do I maintain that frequency even when the world screams otherwise? The answer is simple, but powerful. Start small, but start now. One psalm a day, out loud, with intention, with activated faith, with the certainty that you are planting invisible seeds that will soon sprout in the visible. And if you want help with that, if you want a deeper and more direct path, you already know. In the first pinned comment, there is something that I prepared very carefully. It gets straight, to the point. It's for those who want more. If it's for you, you'll feel it. No, life will always give you two options. Repeat what you've always done, or choose the new one, the real, the aligned. And only those who choose the new see the new manifest. You've already made it this far. You've heard what you need to hear. Have you ever felt something inside? Now the choice is yours. You can leave this video and go back to the same old routine, or you can do something different. Declare a psalm with conscience today. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes and say in a firm voice, "There are promises that sleep inside me, waiting only for a right word to awaken." And after that, just feel it. Trust. Thank. The vibration of gratitude before the blessing is one of the most potent secrets of manifestation. When you give thanks as if you have already received, you take on the role of co-creator, and that opens portals. If there is something that the universe respects, it is the coherence between word and vibration. And this is what the Psalms activate: an internal covenant, a spiritual congruence, a new identity. You are not what you were told you were. You are what God whispers you are in quiet moments. And now that you know that, there is no turning back. Consciousness, once expanded, does not return to its previous state. You have been called. This was not by chance. It was a meeting, and every encounter has a purpose. Yours is this, to manifest the promise that is already alive in you, and if you've made it this far, it's because you're ready. Now he comments there. I activate the promises that God planted in me. This simple action seals your decision to manifest with awareness. And of course, if this content spoke to you, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with those who need to hear it. Let's spread that vibe. Let's wake up. More hearts. Because when a conscience awakens, it lights others around. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, declare, feel, manifest.